यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदनंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जय निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो निताय गौरांगो जय निताय गौरांगो। जय प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा प्रहलाद नरसिम्हा जय सुदर्शना। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस नित्य लीला प्रविष्ट हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर महाराज की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। वृंद देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण चंद्र की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री निताय गौरांग की जय। श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंह देव की जय। श्री श्री सुदर्शन भगवान की जय। हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 7th Canto, 10th Chapter, text number 45. Dharmo Bhagavatana cha Dharmo Bhagavatanam cha Bhagavan Yena Gamyate Bhagavan Yena Gamyate Akhyane Asmin Samamnatam Akhyanesmin Samamnatam Adhyatmikam Asheshatah Adhyatmikam Asheshatah धर्मो भागवतानां च भगवान् येन गम्यते आख्यानेऽस्मिन् समाम्नातम् आध्यात्मिकमशेषतः धर्मो भागवतानां च भगवान् येन गम्यते आख्यानेऽस्मिन् समाम्नातम् आध्यात्मिकमशेषतः धर्मो भागवतानां च भगवान् येन गम्यते आख्यानेऽस्मिन् समाम्नातम् आध्यात्मिकमशेषतः धर्मो भागवतानां च येन गम्यते आख्यानेऽस्मिन् समाम्नातम् आध्यात्मिकमशेषतः धर्मः religious principles Bhagavatanam of the devotees cha and Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead yena by which gamyate one can understand akhyane in the narration asmin this samamnatam is perfectly described adhyatmikam transcendence asheshataha without reservations. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. The principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavat Dharma. In this narration, therefore, which deals with these principles, actual transcendence is properly described. Please repeat. The principles of religion by which one can actually understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are called Bhagavad Dharma. In this narration, therefore, which deals with these principles, actual transcendence is properly described. Purport. Through the principles of religion, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahma, the impersonal feature of the Supreme Lord, and Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Lord. When one is well conversant with all these principles, he becomes a devotee and performs Bhagavad Dharma. Prahlāda Mahārāja, the spiritual master, in the line of disciplic succession, advised that this Bhagavad Dharma be instructed to students from the very beginning of their education. Kaumar acharet pragyo dharman bhagavataniha. To understand the science of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the real purpose of education. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoho. One must simply hear about and describe Lord Vishnu and his various incarnations. This narration concerning Prahlāda Mahārāja and Lord Nrsimhadev, therefore, has properly described spiritual, transcendental subjects. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Srila Prabhupada is explaining here, if we follow the principles of religion very nicely, which is called dharma, then we will be able to understand Brahma, Paramatma and Bhagwan. So what are the principles of religion? Yes. So that is actually Bhagavad Dharma. But that is very confidential. When a person follows religion perfectly, then a person is able to execute Bhagavad Dharma. But if we talk of religion, then what are the principles of religion? So Srila Prabhupada explains very nicely that there are various kinds of religions and they differ in details. Why do they differ? Of course, we are talking of bona fide religions. If a person makes his own religion, mental concocted religion, then that is of no use. But the bona fide religions given by the bona fide authorized representatives of the Supreme Lord, they also differ in details because as per time, place, circumstances, they these things are explained. So Srila Prabhupada explains, yes, the government may be secular, but secular means it is okay. All the religion should be allowed to be practiced, but the principles of religion should always be kept intact. All these various details that people are practicing in various languages, various geographies, all these are based on certain principles. And these principles are counted to be four in number. That is why we have heard in the Bhagavatam when Parikshit Maharaj he set out to tour his kingdom when he saw some discrepancies because Kali Yuga had begun. So this material world is anyway full of misery, but in Kali Yuga it becomes much, much more miserable as we see how the misery is increasing every day in society. So Kali Yuga had just entered and Parikshit Maharaj saw some discrepancies in his kingdom. So immediately set out to correct the things. And when he was touring his kingdom, then he finds what? Yes? No. Before Kali? Yes, bull and cow. He finds a bull and cow. And the bull was standing just on one leg. And this bull was none other than Dharma, religion personified. And then there was Mother Earth who was also present in the form of a cow. And then this bull and cow, this bull was being beaten by a Shudra, a third class person, untrained person, but he was dressed like a king. He was wearing the dress of a king. So this will be the situation. It is told in Kali Yuga. Dasyu Rajanya Rupinah. The so-called kings, still we have some monarchy present on the planet, or the administrators. They will be actually Dasyu, plunderers. They want to fill their pockets, but they will become administrators or kings. So the state of affairs is very, very pathetic. Nobody is interested in welfare. Srila Prabhupada explains how much a king should be thinking about the welfare of the citizens. Parikshit Maharaj is going to die in 7 days. The person is going to die in 7 days, but when he started hearing from Shukdev Goswami the grievous situation of Kali Yuga, he immediately became very concerned. Oh, what will happen to the subjects? You are going to die, but you are concerned about others. So, Prabhupada, this is called a proper king. He's so much concerned about his subjects He is going to die, but he starts asking how we can help these people. The situation is going to be very horrible in this Kali Yuga. So then Shukdev Goswami pacifies him. And what is the shloka he tells? Kalir dosh nidhe rajan asti hi eko. My dear Parikshit Maharaj, do not worry. Yes, although this age is full of all the faults, but there is one great advantage. And what is that? Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, one can go back to Godhead, make his life perfect. Simply by chanting, nothing else has to be done. Vibrate the tongue. It is so simple. Otherwise, extraordinary tapasya is required to be executed under the principles of dharma. Extraordinary tapasya. Everything one has to sacrifice. Everything. Even a tinge of material contamination cannot be there. One has to leave home. One has to leave all the opulences compulsorily. Lead a life of complete renunciation, secluded sacred places. Then perform Ashtanga Yoga or other processes which are very, very difficult to execute. Then, after executing these processes for many, many lifetimes, one is able to attain perfection. And now, simply vibrate the tongue. So, that is why in Bhagavatam further it is mentioned, the Nav Yogendras they mention. So, those who are wise, actually, they worship this age of Kali. So, the age of Kali, although full of so many faults, is worshipable. Because God realization has become so swift and so easy. Simply vibrate the tongue. That's it. By vibration of tongue and hearing the vibration, one can attain all perfection. So the bull was Dharma personified, and his three legs were broken. What does it mean? It means three principles. The religion stands on four principles. Which are those principles? Satyam. The first principle is truthfulness. Religious life begins with truthfulness. And then mercy. Satyam, daya. And then tapaha, austerity, and shocham, cleanliness. Satyam, daya, tapaha, shocham. These are the principles of cleanliness. So, if we consider any religion, all the religions are based on these four principles of truthfulness. All the religions they tell one should be truthful, one should be merciful, satyam, daya, one should practice austerity. There is system of fasting, some kind of fasting in every religion. Some austerities are recommended in every religion. Satyam, truthfulness. Next is daya. Daya means mercy. Third is tapaha. And fourth is so cleaning yourself. That is recommended everywhere. As per the time, place, and circumstances, you should clean. So the secular government must see that it is okay. People should be given freedom to practice their religion as per their capacity. Everyone is having different capacity, but the principles of religion can never be compromised. Such practices should never be allowed, or so-called religion should not be allowed, in which there is, instead of mercy, there is violence. Then that is not proper religion. Mercy should always prevail. Slaughterhouses can never be installed. Principles of austerities are very much required. Unnecessary, unlimited sense gratification cannot be allowed in the society. That is why, uh, as some people tell, that Shudras, they were exploited, they were given less money. No, there is no question of exploitation. Proper respect was there for everyone. Of course, a Brahmana will have more respect than the Shudra, than the working class, the laborer class. That is understood. One respects one's brother also, one respects father also. Both cannot be given equal respect. Father deserves more respect. But respect is given to brother also, mother also, father also, everyone. So, in a similar fashion, everyone was respected. So, Prabhupada tells that Brahmana would be respected as Panditji and Kshatriya would be respected as Thakur. And Vaishya will be respected as Sethji. Sethji, I don't remember. Mostly Prabhupada uses some similar word. And Shudra is respected as Chaudhary. So everyone was given respectful titles. Everyone was respected. Men were respected. Women were respected. Lack of respect happens only when the principles of religion are destroyed in the name of. So Brahmanas, so-called Brahmanas, who were not situated properly, they were not having compassion that these principles should be shared with others. Others also should become Brahmana and solve the problems of life. They became contaminated. The mercy got destroyed. Then other principles got destroyed. So the principles should be intact. Satyam, Daya, Tapaha, Shaucham. Then the things are all right. So when a person executes this very, very nicely, Satyam, Daya, Tapaha, Shaucham, then one is able to understand the Supreme Personality, Brahm, that is his impersonal effulgence, and Paramatma, the localized aspect of the Lord present in the heart. And when these things are understood very nicely, then one is able to execute Bhagavad Dharma. But why execute austerity, cleanliness, all these things, general things? Why not directly take to Bhagavad Dharma? Vibrate the tongue here and life is successful. Such an easy process. So why this easy process is not followed from the beginning? Why follow regular Dharma? It is because it is explained further in the Bhagavatam. Dvadashaite vijanimo dharmam Bhagavatam bhataha guhyam vishuddham durbodham yach gyatva ashnute. One who knows this Bhagavad Dharma, he will taste nectar. So what is the meaning of tasting nectar? When a person tastes nectar, he becomes immortal. He does not die. And apart from giving the effect of immortality, the senses also become very strong. A rejuvenated person becomes full of energy, and the taste also is extraordinary. So the senses are also completely satisfied by tasting the nectar, and the person also becomes immortal. So the person experiences bliss in this life and becomes immortal by executing the Bhagavad Dharma. One who knows Yaj Gyatva Amrita Mashnute, he tastes nectar. He relishes the spiritual bliss in this life and becomes immortal also. But why people are not able to attain this platform? Because it is confidential, it is secret. Guhyam, Guhyam means secret. Vishuddham, Vishuddham means Shuddha means Vishuddha means hmm? Extremely pure, supremely pure. That is called Vishuddh. So one who is pure, they are called Brahmanas. But Brahmanas also may not understand Bhagavad Dharma. The topmost Brahmanas, devotees, are able to understand this Bhagavad Dharma. So one has to come to the platform of Vishuddham. Vishuddha means pure goodness, spiritual platform. So this Bhagavad Dharma is executed, understood on Vishuddham, Shuddha Sattva platform. Guhyam, it is confidential. Durbodham, Durbodham means very, very difficult to understand. So that is why Prabhupada tells. So this is contradiction. In one place it is written that bhakti is susukham kartum avyayam. It is very pleasant, very easy to perform. On the other hand, it is written Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhi. It is so difficult. So it is difficult or it is easy? But the Prabhupada tells it is very easy, but the difficulty is people do not take to it. Once you take to it, it is very easy. But people don't take to it. People think oh, it is nothing. It is useless. It is ordinary or something. So that is the difficulty. One does not become qualified to take to this bhakti. Otherwise, if a person takes bhakti, it is very easy. So durbodham, people are not able to understand this Bhagavad Dharma. That is why we were discussing few classes back how when the glories of the holy name were described, then the Brahmana got agitated. He told, you will cut off your nose if the glimpse of holy name does not give liberation. And then eventually his nose fell off. He was not able to understand. By chanting and hearing name, you will be liberated. Do you know what is liberation? What all has to be done for liberation? So people are not Durbodham. Why they are not able to understand? Ehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantar praptir dhiras tatrna muhyati. As we change our body from child to youth to old age, similarly, at the time of death, we move to another body. But this fact can be understood only by a sober person. One who is sober, he will not be disturbed. Dhiras tatrana muhyati. One who is not sober, he will not be able to understand. So one has to be very, very sober. Partho vassa sudhir bhokta dugdham gitamritam mahat. This nectar of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is milking it out. He is extracting from the cow. What is cow? Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandana. Sarvopanishado gavo. The knowledge of all the Upanishads, it is compared to cow. And what is the essence of all the knowledge of Upanishad? That is Bhagavad Gita. And who is milking the cow, taking out this essence? Krishna, Gopalanandana. And the cow gives milk for calf. Who is calf? Arjuna. So for Arjuna, this nectar is being taken out. Saram, saram, samudritam. But then apart from calf, some other people also enjoy the milk. Who they are? They are Sudhir, Sudhir Bhokta. So those who are Sudhir means very, very sober. They will be able to understand, relish this nectar of Bhagavad Gita, which is being extracted from Krishna. Unless one is very sober, he or she will not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita, which is the foundation of Bhagavad Dharma. So one has to be very, very sober. Senses should be controlled. Mind should be controlled. That is why Rup Goswami tells it is very important to control the mind and senses. Otherwise, without controlling mind and senses, there is no question of spiritual advancement. No question. So one has to very rigidly control the mind and senses. Like one is very alert in controlling the snakes. One will never take a snake in a careless way. One will be very, very alert. Oh, snake. So just like we deal with the snakes, in a similar attitude we should deal with similar alertness, we should deal with our senses. Our senses and mind just like snakes. Nahi kaschit kurechit sakhyam. Never make friends with the mind. Anytime it can bite, it can cheat. So the senses are compared to venomous snakes, poisonous snakes. One should be very, very careful. So one who is able to control the mind and senses, only such a person is able to understand. So it is easy to understand, but these mind and senses, they are always agitated. So one who is not sober, who is agitated in mind, cannot understand. That is why the entire Vedic culture is designed in such a way that a person is very, very peaceful. The purpose of Varnashrama Dharma is at least to make a person peaceful. So if we follow the rules and regulations of Varnashrama, one will be very, very peaceful. When we are peaceful, Sudhir Bhokta, then we can understand this Bhagavad Dharma, spiritual principles. So we have heard a lot about controlling the senses. But how to actually control the senses? Yes? Yes, very nice. We understand by executing devotional service. And what is the symptom that we are executing devotional service? How shall we understand? Yes? Yes. And how shall we, what will be the symptom, manifestation of that? That our senses are controlled, we are doing devotional service. Hmm? Okay. And yes. So very nice. So Prabhupada, rather Lord Krishna, explains very, very nicely this point in chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita, text number 7. This is very important. So Lord Krishna is telling, Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha sarva bhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. So all the devotees are more or less engaged in devotional service, morning to evening. But devotional services, again, it is not exactly the external action of the senses. You bring a musician here and tell him to play his music. Does it become kirtan? No. Prabhupada is telling today is Ekadashi. So many people would be there in the hospital now, unable to eat and fast. So are they following Ekadashi? No. They will not be given advantage of following Ekadashi. So Ekadashi means we fast for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So those who are sick people fasting in the hospital, they are not following Ekadashi. So one who you bring some people, on the other side of our society, always there is some band playing. I don't know, they are doing marriage or what celebration. Always they are playing the bands. So you bring a band player here, tell him to play his music. Will it become kirtan? No. So everything depends on. So thus Prabhupada explains, simply by taking dip in Ganges, one does not necessarily become purified. Everything spiritual or material depends upon consciousness. Everything spiritual or material depends on consciousness. So if you are convinced this Ganges is non-different from Lord Krishna, it is Vishuddham, supremely pure, and then we take dip in that consciousness, then we will immediately get purified. Of course, purification is always there, but it will take time. That is called Agyas Sukriti. Without any knowledge, person is running along the bank, he falls off in the water. So, without knowing this is Ganges or what, he will also get advantage. But this advantage is called Agyas Sukriti. He has not made any spiritual advancement, but he has become closer to making spiritual advancement. Horse has become, horse has come very close to water or closer to water, but has not drunk it yet. This is called Agyas Sukriti. So when devotional service is performed without any knowledge of devotional service, it does not give spiritual advancement, but it gives Agyas Sukriti. Just like father is coming, offering obeisances in temple, child also will come and fall. He will look here and there. We see in temple, children come. Okay. Child imitates the father. Child does not know why father is lying down. Sometimes he goes and sits on the father. He's offering obeisance. He does not know what is this happening. Father is playing around, he thinks. Let me also play like this. But because he has somehow imitated, done the right action, he will get Agyas Sukriti. He has come closer to spiritual advancement. One day he'll become very nice devotee. He becomes closer and closer and closer. One eats prasadam without any knowledge it is prasadam Agyas Sukriti. The result of Agyas Sukriti is more chances to perform devotional service. He will get more prasadam. But not spiritual advancement. For spiritual advancement, one has to be conscious. So everything material or spiritual depends upon consciousness, Prabhupada tells. That is why Krishna consciousness. Externally, it is the same. Arjuna was fighting before, he fought afterwards also. The difference lies in consciousness. Everything depends upon consciousness. Attitude. What is our attitude? What is our consciousness? So, thus, although externally we might be engaged in devotional service, but that might not be the right execution of devotional service. If we are executing devotional service nicely, our mind and senses will be controlled, and the symptom will be here it is explained Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. He is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Such a person who is actually engaged in devotional service, he will become dear to everyone, and everyone will become dear to him. Sarva Bhutatma Bhutatma. This was the situation of the Goswamis. Dhira Dhira Jana Priya Priyau Priyakarau Nirmat Sarau Pujitau. Dheer and Adheer, there are two kinds of people, the sober and the ruffians, not properly behaved.
But the Goswamis, they were dear to everyone, those who are sober and those who are disturbed. The Goswamis were accepted as authority by everyone. They were very dear. And of course, everyone is dear to a devotee. But the devotee also, actual devotee, becomes dear to everyone. This is the symptom of a devotee. He will become dear to everyone. So thus Prabhupada explains, when there was any conflict in the village, they would go to Goswami, Sanatan Goswami. Baba, please sort it out. This is our issue. So they have taken Sanatan Goswami as ultimate authority. So thus Prabhupada tells, even though one person is, of course, when there is conflict, one person is right and another is wrong. So even though materially a person is wrong, but because he has got implicit faith in Sanatan Goswami, he has taken shelter of Sanatan Goswami, they also got liberated. So this Bhagavata Dharma is so pure and so powerful. Prabhupada explains, if a person has strong faith, whatever is written in Bhagavad Gita is 100% correct. Even though one is not able to follow those instructions, he will become liberated simply by this faith. If one has got implicit faith, that is why in spiritual master, that Prabhupada is a pure devotee of Krishna. I have complete faith in Prabhupada. Whatever he's telling is perfect. Then such a person will get liberated. Although for this faith, one needs to be very, very advanced in executing Satyam, Daya, Tapaha, Shaucham. One has to be very advanced in executing the principles of austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and everything, religion. But somehow or other, just like in this case, the villagers, simple villagers, they took Sanatan Goswami to be authority. They got liberated. So somehow or other, if we are able to take the pure devotee as authority, having complete faith in him, then that guarantees position of liberation. That is why Prabhupada told, you hold my dhoti and I have the key to the back door. First Prabhupada told, if we have a tinge of material desire, you have to come back to this material world. Then disciples told, not possible for us then. We have tinge of devotional service. Okay, Prabhupada told, 75% pure. Okay, 70%. Okay, less. At least this much you should be pure. Then disciples were still morose. One disciple went. So we all know this. Prabhupada told, you simply hold my dhoti. I have the key to the back door. If one simply has faith, let me just hold the dhoti of Prabhupada. Let me remain a loyal servant of Prabhupada life after life. This is my desire. Then we are liberated. If I have got this faith. Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. Even though I am not able to execute, I have the faith that the only action which needs to be done in this world is Krishna Bhakti. I have no other duty in this life. Even though one's senses may not be controlled, might not be able to execute the regulative principles, but if one has got this firm faith, strong Shraddha, Krishna Bhakti Kaile, if I surrender to Krishna, this is the only thing which I am supposed to do in this world. I am not supposed to do any other dharma, any other duty, then such a person is liberated. Simply this Shraddha is required, strong Shraddha. The symptom of a person who is executing, that symptom will be everyone, he is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. So Prabhupada writes, please hear the purport very carefully. One who is on the path of liberation by Krishna consciousness is very dear to every living being, and every living being is dear to him. This is due to his Krishna consciousness. So just imagine what would be our life if everyone is dear to us. We love every person. So we think other person has to be good if we have to love them. In order to be happy, other person may not love us. We have to love other person. When we were in college, so there was our batchmate, very intelligent boy. He started earning a lot of money in college itself. That is what is the parameter of intelligence. But otherwise also he was good, very bright. And then what happened? So poor fellows, after working so hard, then they get some freedom in college. So he used his freedom to get attracted to a girl. And he got so much fascinated by the girl, fallen in love, strong infatuation. Then one day I see in the hostel, we are living in the same hostel. he is distributing cakes to everyone. So we thought, what is this? Why you're distributing cake? I don't think today is your birthday. We just celebrated other day. Told, no, today is her birthday. So I'm distributing. That girl does not even know. And poor fellow is distributing cakes. And ultimately nothing happened. And money also gone, cakes also. So anyway, so his heart is gladdened seeing the girl. Why? The girl loves him? No, he loves the girl. So he's feeling great bliss. So if everyone is dear to us, we are blissful. And that happens not because of any qualifications or disqualifications in them. It is our qualification. If we are Krishna conscious, then everyone will be dear to us. Our heart will be gladdened seeing everyone. Why does it so happen? ऐसा कैसे? Somebody might be well behaved, ill behaved, good qualities, bad qualities. How everyone can be dear to us? So Prabhupada explains. What is actually Krishna consciousness? Such a person cannot think of any living being as separate from Krishna, just as the leaves and branches of a tree are not separate from the tree. He knows very well that by pouring water on the root of the tree, the water will be distributed to all the leaves and branches, or by supplying food to the stomach, the energy is automatically distributed throughout the body. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. He is very dear to everyone. So what is actually Krishna consciousness? What example Prabhupada is giving here? He cannot see any living entity as separate from Krishna, just like the leaves and branches are not separate from the tree. So I am servant of Krishna. Very simply, it is written in Chaitanya Charitamrita, how to become happy. Jeev Krishna Das, e Vishwas, karle to aar dukho nai. There is no misery in life. Simply if a person has got thorough conviction and faith that I am Krishna Das, Jeev Krishna Das. But I am serving Krishna, I am doing Mangalarti, I am doing book reading every day, I am ordering Krishna Prasadam, but I have not become happy. I am still disturbed. Yes, because actually we have not understood Krishna nicely. So what is actually Krishna consciousness? Understanding that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So if I am servant of Krishna means I am servant of every living entity. So thus Prabhupada explains. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. One who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all. Servant is dear to everyone, correct? Nobody likes a master, everyone likes a servant. Yes, serve me. Yes, you follow my advice. Take me as master. Engage me in my service. Everyone likes servant. Humble person, folding the hands, never replying. Who doesn't like such a person? So a person who is Krishna conscious, Prabhupada is writing, he is servant to all. Because one who works in Krishna consciousness is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. So everyone likes a Krishna conscious devotee because he thinks that I am servant. Why there is conflict in the world? Because nobody thinks I am servant, I am master. Wife is trying to become master of husband. Husband is trying to become master of. They are trying to become master of children. Child is trying to become master of his father. So thus, nobody thinks I am servant. Everyone thinks I am master. But a person who is Krishna conscious, he thinks I am servant to everyone. And thus everyone is satisfied. So we can satisfy others only when we act as servant of them. And we know that I am servant of Krishna, I am servant of everyone. So when a person understands this, then karle to aar dukho nai, there is no misery in our life. All the miseries are because I don't realize I am servant of Krishna, I am servant of everyone. I am born just to serve everyone. And we serve everyone by serving Krishna, by spreading Krishna consciousness, bringing people to Krishna. So simply this faith, karle to aar dukho nai, then there is no misery in life. As long as I think I am master, this material world is my mistress, universe is at your command, I am want to enjoy, then finished. Servant is not. Servant's only desire is how to please the master, how to please the master. In that service, some pleasure comes, that is okay. And we see some wonderful servants of various kings, they sacrifice their lives in the service of the king. Very, very honest servants. This is called servant. He's just thinking about pleasure of his master without any personal consideration. So as long as we make plans of enjoying this material world, then we are trying to act as masters. I can enjoy material world, it is my property. No, it is Krishna's property. So I am just servant. So then, karle to aar dukh honai, then there is no misery. Because he is servant to all, he is very dear to everyone. And because, now please read here carefully. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. So we talk about purifying our consciousness. The entire process is purifying the consciousness. All the problems are felt because the consciousness is impure. The material nature controls us because consciousness is impure. So how a devotee is able to maintain pure consciousness? It is because everyone is satisfied by his work. As soon as somebody is dissatisfied from us, our consciousness becomes impure. That we also have realized. As soon as there is some conflict, somebody becomes dissatisfied from our behavior, then we also become disturbed. And disturbance means rajas tamas, impure consciousness. So as soon as anybody becomes dissatisfied from us, our consciousness becomes impure. Now, because devotee is acting as servant to all, Prabhupada writes, so how beautiful is Prabhupada's every line in the purport. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is pure in consciousness. So we can maintain pure consciousness only if everyone is satisfied by our work. And then what happens? Because he is pure in consciousness, his mind is completely controlled. So mind can be completely controlled if consciousness is pure. His mind is completely controlled. And because his mind is controlled, his senses are also controlled. When mind is controlled, then senses also will become under control. Because his mind is always fixed on Krishna, there is no chance of his being deviated from Krishna, nor is there a chance he will engage his senses in matters other than the service of the Lord. He does not like to hear anything except topics relating to Krishna. He does not like to eat anything which is not offered to Krishna, and he does not wish to go anywhere if Krishna is not involved. Therefore, his senses are controlled. A man of controlled senses cannot be offensive to anyone. So, we commit offenses only when our senses are not controlled. So, man whose senses are controlled, he cannot be offensive to anyone. The root cause of all offenses are uncontrolled senses. So, if the senses are controlled, such a person does not offend anyone. He does not offend anyone. He is thinking that I am servant. Everyone is satisfied by his work. And because everyone is satisfied by his work, he is having pure consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Senses are controlled, mind is controlled. So we all have heard that by executing devotional service, our mind intelligence, our senses get controlled. The only way of controlling the senses is devotional service. But what is devotional service? It is attitude rather than executing external formalities. Externally, a person could be hardcore materialist. He might be having wife or many wives and children also. But internally, if he is thinking, I am their servant, I need to make them devotees of Krishna. I don't wish to enjoy the property service of my children or my wife. I am living as their servant. Then such a person is not materialist, but he is Mahabhagavat, topmost devotee. And if we are engaging in service of Krishna, but I am seeking my satisfaction in the background, I have personal desires. I do not think of everyone as part and parcel of Krishna. I think I am servant of Krishna in the altar and all others are different from Krishna. That is also devotional service, but that is Kanishta Adhikari. Archayam ev harye yajante shraddhaye hate. He worships deity with great faith, great strictness in rules and regulations, but he does not know how to behave with devotees or people in general. Such a person is Kanishta Adhikari. He is on material platform. And material platform means Dukhalyama Shashvatam, platform of disturbance. Or if he is in Sattva Guna, he will be peaceful, but peace only, but no devotional service. So only when we advance when we understand how to behave with devotees, how to behave with people in general. So the behavior of a devotee is nobody should come into anxiety because of our actions. Nobody should come into anxiety, no living entity. That is a devotee. So, devotee should always be cautious by my words, by my actions, whether others are getting agitated or not. Nobody should become agitated. That is why, as we were discussing, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explains how to chant the holy name. A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked and chastised, he should not say anything to the others to retaliate. So, even if rebuked, somebody comes and rebukes us, chastises us, casts aspersions, the devotee does not retaliate. Today, the situation is even in family, people retaliate. So, I was fortunate to see this culture. So, uh, I went because we were not so passionate. Now, children are also very, very busy, more busy than corporate professionals. They want to become Leander Pace and Tony Robbins and everything at the same time, and Stephen Hawking also. So we were enjoying our vacations nicely. So in vacations, we'll go to visit our relatives' place, grandfather, grandmother, uncles, aunts. I would visit them. And then I saw my uncle was severely chastising my brother, cousin. But he was not responding. This behavior was unique to me. Oh, this is also how people behave because I was not trained like this, not living in joint family, nuclear family. So it was difficult for me to tolerate when father would chastise. I also would reply, although I was also a little tolerant, but I will reply sometimes. But here he is chastising for no reason, but brother is simply listening. They were from relatively smaller town and more cultured and listening. I know what is this behavior? He is not telling for no reason you are scolding me. He simply listened. So that was very new for me. This is also how people can behave. So we can just imagine what was the situation in Vedic culture. We can see from Yudhishthir Maharaj's example that Dhritarashtra, his uncle, crooked uncle, he tried so many times to kill them. But even after war, everything is settled. They are taking best care of them like their own father and mother. When Dhritarashtra, he went out with Vidur to renounce. Yudhishthir Maharaj became very much worried. Oh, what will happen to my uncle? The uncle who is killer, who has attempted so many life attempts, he's concerned about him. So just we can imagine what were the values. Now everyone retaliates. In every family, children retaliate to parents. Parents are anyway this thing. They have all the right, of course. They are superiors. Husband to wife, wife to husband, brother, sister, cousin, in-laws. Everyone is retaliating. But what is a devotee? A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate. One should not say anything if others rebuke or chastise us. For if, even if one cuts a tree, it never protests, nor even if it is drying up and dying, does it ask anyone for water. The tree is going to die if not given water. Still, it will not ask, please give me water. It will die without asking. So, this kind of forbearance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells, with this attitude, if we chant Hare Krishna, then the chanting will be very fruitful. Then the chanting will be offenseless. So, chanting anyway is effective, but to make it very quickly effective, it should be without offenses. And we can be offenseless only when we are amanina manadena. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, more tolerant. We have to become, word uses, more tolerant. One who thinks himself. So, how do we understand more tolerant? What can be greater tolerance than this? Somebody is coming and cutting a tree. The tree is not saying anything. Tree's response is same. It will give fruits and shade to the person who has come to give water or to a person who has come to cut the tree. He will give same shade and fruits. Extreme tolerance. He will die without asking for water. What can be greater than this? Here it is told more tolerant. What can be greater? Mm. Yes. Yes. So shown by all the great devotees. Could be Nityanand Prabhu or Haridas Thakur or Jesus Christ. They are not just neutral. Tree is neutral. But here, those who are killing them, they are praying for their welfare. This is extraordinary tolerance. You are praying for the welfare of Prahlāda Mahārāja, your killer. Who can do this? Only a devotee can do this. As Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj also told, that we should pray. What is the exact quote? Somebody remembers? Yes, one should pray for the greatest welfare of the worst enemy. That is Krishna consciousness. Lord, please help me to pray for the greatest benefit or welfare for my worst enemy. So if enemy comes and offends us, we will also like to retaliate. What to speak of retaliating? We should pray for the best welfare for our worst enemy. So we can just see this is the consciousness more tolerant than the tree. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, yet is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. Such a person can chant always. By chanting always, there is God realization. But who can chant always? Only when there is such an attitude. Thus, we can understand Prabhupada is so kind. Unless we get such a spiritual master, we will never be able to understand what is devotional service. That is why it is Guhyam. Showing a lamp in front of Krishna, everybody can do. In India, everyone does it. Everyone visits the temple. So many people chant also. But Bhagavad Dharma is very confidential. Bhagavad Dharma actually depends upon attitude. It is consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So this should be the behavior with living entities in general. Everyone is dear to him and he is dear to everyone. And what to speak of in the society of devotees? How much more tolerant, respectful we should be when we are living with the devotees? How much careful we should be? So in this way, our senses, our mind are controlled. So when we are having this consciousness, because others are satisfied by the devotees, by the work of devotee, the devotee maintains pure consciousness. And because consciousness is pure, mind is controlled. Senses are, because mind is controlled, senses are also controlled. And when mind and senses are controlled, very easily such a person can always chant, always be Krishna conscious. So this is the confidential Bhagavad Dharma. So we'll end here. Any questions? The question is now, what is the conclusion? We discuss the four principles of religion. We discuss Bhagavad Dharma also, which a person executes after executing these things. So, what we should do? So, of course, so the question is, uh, I am there in 12th standard. So, should I follow? But the principle is ABCD. So, should I follow 12th standard also and ABCD also? No, if we are able to follow 12th standard, that is included, like we are discussing. Mukesh Ambani. Nobody will tell him, you do not have MBA degree, I will not deal with you. No, he is father of all MBAs. He's actually doing business. Ashtesh is doing business without MBA. So people ask, are you MBA? No. Because he's doing business means he knows MBA. There is no need for him to get a degree. Correct. So in this way, if we are able to chant, execute Bhagavad Dharma, there is no need to follow inferior Dharma, other things. That is why Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Raja. You surrender to Krishna and then one is freed from all the obligations. Nayam Rini Charajan. Such a person is not having any duty. One who is able to execute this dharma. Yeah. So the question is, we also discuss such a person should be dear to everyone, everyone is dear to him. So unless we reach that platform, should we follow the inferior principle? So understanding is no. We should execute Bhagavad Dharma nicely. And by executing Bhagavad Dharma nicely, we will become dear to everyone, everyone will be dear to us. Yeah. Okay, so the so the understanding is it is not that tree is tolerant, tree is forced to tolerate. So yeah, so the that is why the trees don't make spiritual advancement. They don't become Krishna conscious by executing this thing. But we willingly should adopt the behavior of a tree. That is why the Paramahansas are praised for Ajagar Vritti. What is Ajagar Vritti? Behavior like snake, like a python. A python is so lazy, it will sit in one place only. Will not move at all. Some animal will come, gup, it will eat. It will not move also. Keep on lying in one place. Then it has eaten a big animal, again it will sleep because cannot move. Again, then more animal will come, again it does not move much. So the Paramahansa's pure devotees, they also adopt this Madhavendra Puri. He will never ask anyone, give me food, never ask for bhiksha. Something comes to myself, to me, I'll take, otherwise I'll fast. So Paramahansa, he goes to Krishna by executing this, and a snake remains here. So that is why voluntarily these things have to be executed. Yeah. So the question is, we just discussed everyone should be satisfied by our work. Then we'll be having pure consciousness. But in material world, people are not satisfied. So it is how is this situation possible? So Prabhupada explains this situation is possible for a devotee because Krishna is seated in the heart of all the living entities. From heart, he tells all the living entities not to become envious of a devotee. And what to speak of human beings? Prabhupada explains how the devotees are able to live in jungle, yogis are able to live in jungle. So Krishna, from the heart of wild animals, tells them that here is a devotee, do not disturb him. And we know example of Haridas Thakur also. He was sleeping in the same cave with a python or some other snake, but he was chanting very nicely. Snake is also. It was roommate. No disturbance. And eventually then Krishna guided when other devotees, they told Haridas Thakur, can you please come to other place? You are exalted, but we are afraid. And we want to have your darshan. So, in order for to give benefit to all the people in general, can you please move to a cave without a snake? So, as soon as Haridas Thakur decided, let me move out, Krishna guided the snake, you move out, let him stay here, don't disturb him. So, thus, Krishna is there in the heart of all living entities. He guides the animals, he guides other living entities also to become non envious towards the devotee and they are satisfied. And thus, it happens in the case of devotees only, you see. The devotees, the brahmacharis, they are most irresponsible children in one sense. They have completely neglected their responsibility of taking care of parents. They are not able to spend time with them. They are not able to give them financial support. They are not there when they materially need them. But the parents become very satisfied. On the other hand, the materialist child, parents will remain always dissatisfied. How much ever he serves, he follows on. So we can practically see one child who is not serving the parents at all, parents are satisfied with him or her. And those who are satisfying them very nicely, they are dissatisfied. So this is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Krishna is there in the heart. Yes, welcome. The question is how to practically execute being servant of everyone. People will exploit us in this world if we do that. So there are two things here. One is personal concern. When there is personal concern, my personal interest, then people generally think that people will bully me more, they will press me more if I am tolerant. So we should do tit for tat. But this is very, very wrong understanding. This understanding has created havoc in the relationships of the people. It does not work in that way. We can understand also that everyone is a human being has got a heart. If you behave badly towards somebody, if somebody comes and shouts at us, then what would be natural response? We will also like to shout back. And somebody comes, Hare Krishna, he tells, or good morning. Can we shout back? No. Even if we are shouting, he tells sorry 3, 4 times. We also become soft hearted. Correct? It may take some time, but we also change. So, this is the law in this material world, Prabhupada tells. Master sometimes chastises for no reason. But what does a servant do? Servant tolerates without speaking a word. And by this behavior, the heart of the master also becomes soft. He cannot keep on chastising always. Why chastise? He does not say anything. So much I am chastising. Then his heart also softens up. And then the servant actually develops an intimate, friendly relation with the master by such an attitude. And this people do not notice common sense also, and it is science also. So it is not that people will exploit. If you do tit for tat, then there will be escalation, there will be no resolution. We should always try to be servant. Let other person know everyone is a human being. They have got heart. Even Kansa felt sympathy when Vasudev brought young children. So thus, it is not fact. But there is a fact that we are servants of Krishna. So we have to save our body, which belongs to Krishna. We have to save our wealth, which we have to use in the service of Krishna. So if somebody is unnecessarily consuming our time, energy, resources, which have to be used in the service of Krishna, we will take proper measures to safeguard them, but in the attitude of a servant without creating unnecessary disturbance for others. So some disturbance is natural, but unnecessary disturbance should be always avoided. Always a servant, if servant has to take leave, he will not argue. He will tell, sir, please give me leave. I have this job. I have to do this thing. So in this is servant attitude should always be maintained. Everything should be done in a polite, in a gentle way. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 Good question. So we see that some people were disturbing Srila Prabhupada, and they were disturbed from the activities of Srila Prabhupada. And we know Prabhupada is Paramahansa. So how do we understand it? So the case is just like here. Hiranyakashipu is disturbed from Prahlāda Mahārāja. Prahlāda Mahārāja is also exalted devotee. He is Mahabhagavata. And Hiranyakashipu was not satisfied with his actions. So people in general would be satisfied. But there are people who are very envious. That is why it is told, Sarpaha Krura. What is the verse? Sarpaha Krura, Khalah Krura. Sarpat Krura Tarah Khalah. Mantra Aushadhi Vashe Sharpat Khalah Kena Nivariyet. Snake is very, very envious. For no reason it will bite. But still, snake can be controlled by herbs and by chants. But people who are envious like snakes, they cannot be controlled by herbs and chants. So there are some people who are envious like snakes. Such people can never be pacified. So some people who are by nature very envious, nobody can help them. But people in general are satisfied. So the time is up. Those devotees who are hearing from folk residency can please carry on. We'll continue with Q&A for some more time. Yes. Yeah. Yes, who is doing executing devotional service in knowledge, he is Shuddha Sattva. That is why Prabhupada mentions in this purport executing Krishna consciousness in full Krishna consciousness, executing Krishna service in full Krishna consciousness. So one has to become completely Krishna conscious and engage in service. Yes. Yeah. Yes. 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 So the question is, there was a debate that bhakti is easy or difficult to perform. One party is telling bhakti is very easy, and one party is telling bhakti is very tough. And Prabhupada also tells some people tell bhakti is very easy. Gyanis they will tell. Those who are not very wise, not able to follow Gyan Yoga, they take to bhakti, sentimentalism. This sentimental thing, good for less intelligent people. Those who cannot understand Upanishads, cannot understand this knowledge, they take to bhakti yoga. But Prabhupada tells when bhakti is executed according to the rules and Shruti Smriti Purana Adi, as per the rules and regulations, great stalwarts also they fall off the path of bhakti. So it is difficult to perform. But at the same time, it is told it is very, very easy. So as we discussed, it is very easy to do bhakti, but people don't take to bhakti, actual bhakti. So bhakti is very easy. What is bhakti? Dog can also do bhakti. Dog also went back to Godhead. Dog decided, I will follow Shivanand Sen wherever he goes. I will follow pure devotee. So one who has decided to follow pure devotee, he be animal or a human being, he will become successful. Simply follow pure devotee. That's it. Whatever he is doing, he is telling. So one who has decided, I will just follow pure devotee. Very simple. Scoring full marks in examination. It is easy or tough. If you are giving from Bihar, it could be very easy. From the wind. So in state board, there was topper. Huh? How many? 4 5 years ago? Huh? Mataji she was? And she does not even know the name of subject she has passed. She has become state topper. She does not know the name of subject she has topped in. So the stopping board exam is easy or difficult? Depends from which state you are giving. If somebody gives you OMR sheet, okay, fill it up. Filling the bubbles is very easy, full marks, right? So Prabhupada has given us OMR sheet, just copy and fill it up, and you are back. So bhakti is very easy if we are able to somehow completely follow pure devotee. Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krit hoy. But if we do not surrender to pure devotees, it is impossible. Never we attain perfection. Yeah. Can you please come again? Yeah. Hmm. 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 Okay. Okay. So the question is to attain liberation. Among the processes which are described in Bhagavad Gita, Karma Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Bhakti Yoga is easiest to perform. Is this right or not? So again, as we discussed, if a person does not surrender to Krishna, then Bhakti Yoga is impossible to be performed, most difficult to be performed. One cannot engage in Bhakti Yoga without taking shelter of a spiritual master. So for them, that is why Karma Yoga is the easiest. You act and don't enjoy the results. But if a person surrenders to pure devotee, then it becomes easy. Otherwise, Karma Yoga is easiest. When a person advances in Karma Yoga, he renounces the results of activity, then he increases his knowledge. Then he is able to follow Jnana Yoga. When the knowledge increases, he starts meditating automatically. Then he comes to stage of Dhyana Yoga. And when one's senses are completely undisturbed, one is able to see the Lord in the heart. One can actually understand that I am part and parcel of Supreme Lord and can get attracted to engage in his service. Then he starts Bhakti Yoga. So in that way, Bhakti Yoga is attained after many, many lifetimes of execution of penance austerities, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. So Karma Yoga is easiest otherwise for people in general. Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah. Hmm. 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 So the question is, uh, this principle of tolerance was practiced by a political leader in the past that let people attack. Let me not respond. So was this correct or not? So this was incorrect. Because Krishna does not tell Arjuna, Arjuna, please tolerate Kauravas, whatever they are telling you, do that. Why? Yes. So the conclusion is, as we discuss, it depends if that is your personal concern. If it is our personal concern, then we should not be worried at all about us. But when it comes to engaging in service of Krishna, boss, he throws us away from a big city to a small town. He is very envious. But if small town is good, I should not be angry on boss. I should not resist. But if he's throwing me to a good city also, where I don't have association of devotees, I will retaliate. I may leave the company also. I will not tolerate. So the question is not my personal interest, but Krishna consciousness. So here, if somebody is there who will destroy the Krishna consciousness of the country, then why such a person should be allowed to rule the country? Like Arjuna was told to fight and this thing. So that is why retaliation is required. So again, it depends on, as we told, Krishna consciousness. For our personal interest, very, very tolerant like a tree. But otherwise, for Krishna consciousness, one can be as valiant as Lord Hanuman, burn the entire city, or Arjuna. And online, any questions? Okay, so all that is answered. Okay, okay, okay. Yes, yes, yes. So I think all the questions which are online, they are also asked indirectly. Yes. So the question is, Parikshit Maharaj was concerned about his subjects. It means he was attached to his subjects. And when somebody is attached to the people of material world, how he can be liberated? Yes. Yes. Like Bharat Maharaj, he was concerned about the sufferings of a deer. And he had to take another life as a deer because he was concerned about them. So the question is, was Bharat Maharaj concerned about material suffering of a deer, and Parikshit Maharaj concerned about spiritual suffering? So suffering is material only, forgetfulness of Krishna. When it happens, people suffer in this material. There is material suffering, birth, death, old age. Parikshit Maharaj got to know of horrible material facts only, and thus he was concerned how to do it. So the cause of concern is only because the living entity is having material sufferings here in this world. But it depends whether a person is having this concern on material or spiritual platform. Concern on material platform means not going at the root cause to solve the problem. Person is having some wounds, let me try to heal the wounds. Person is hungry, let me try to give him food. If I think by this the other person or animal would be satisfied, then that is ignorance. Because simply by repairing the dress or taking care of dress, we are not fed. We are not taken care. We need to eat food. So thus Prabhupada explains, there was no question of elevating. Of course, we understand exalted pure devotees can benefit animals also, but Bharat Maharaj was not on that platform, apparently externally. So because there was no question of giving spiritual advancement to a deer, so that is why Bharat Maharaj got degraded because of this thing. So we also, why we are concerned about speaking Krishna consciousness here, we can go and we can run an NGO of taking care of so many animals who are suffering. So the understanding is we don't discriminate between animals and human beings. Everyone is suffering here. Somebody is going to suffer today, somebody will suffer tomorrow. The one who is a human being, he also is going to become animal in next life and suffer just like animals are suffering today. But why we focus directly and very much on the human beings? Because in human form of life we can solve all the problems for good. In animal life it is not possible. Prabhupada gives very nice example. Just like in war time, the soldiers are wounded. Now two soldiers are wounded, you can save only one. Whom shall we save? One is very badly wounded and is going to die. Another soldier is less wounded. Whom we would like to rescue? Yes, who is about to die, less wounded. ऐसा कैसे? Aman is telling उसको ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है ना, is going to die. The one who is going to die cannot be saved. If you try to rescue him, he will anyway die. Another person also will die by that time. So that is why it often happens in army. There is a war, some people are wounded, so they have to leave somebody because other person who is less wounded may be saved. Because time resources are limited, you have limited options. So thus we should try to spend time with the human beings and elevate them to Bhagavad Dharma, because they can solve birth, death, old age, disease, all the problems of life. Animal, we can wait till they become humans. Animals also we can help them, we can give them prasadam and we chant Hare Krishna. Animals also, trees also, they get benefited. That much Agya Sukri they can have. But trees cannot come out of the process of birth and death in that species. So they have to grow, they have to advance and come to the platform of human beings. So in this manner, Parikshit Maharaj, he was not uh, on the material platform. His concern was on spiritual platform. He was spiritually attached because everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. It is my duty to help them come out of their sufferings. So this kind of compassion, concern, one must have. This concern is on the spiritual platform. It is not on the, so what is spiritual platform? On material platform, what is the concern? If we see somebody who is hungry, who is starving, we will cry seeing them. Materialist also they feel. And if we see that somebody is laughing, enjoying, playing, skiing, bungee jumping, golfing, then we'll see, oh, very nice life, very good. But no, Prabhupada was crying seeing people playing golf also. Prabhupada passed in front of golf course. Prabhupada asked, what is that golf, what they are doing? So when disciples explained, what do they do? So Prabhupada started crying that how they are wasting this human form of life. When he would see people surfing, Prabhupada told they are not surfers, they are sufferers. They are going to become fish in next life for this tendency. Fish life is full of misery, full of anxiety, full of troubles, in great ignorance. So how they are moving towards great ignorance? So this is called material concerned. Seeing material enjoyment also, devotee cries. And seeing material suffering also, devotee cries, because both are absence of Krishna consciousness. Understood? So being concerned is very important. Concern should be on spiritual platform. So we'll end. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय.